Hello, welcome to the SKFC martial art training videos. In this tape, over 80 of the most basic grappling and locking chin art techniques are demonstrated by Master Stephen Lee. In the beginning of the tape is a series of warm-up exercises which should be performed before any chin art techniques training. This warm-up exercise serves to loosen and stretches the most important muscle groups and joints in the body. By spending 10 to 15 minutes on these warm-ups, your body will be prepared for more demanding exercise. Now let's start to warm up the neck joint and muscles by rotating the head in circular directions. For the shoulder, by lifting the shoulder and rotating the shoulder in forward direction and then backward direction. By swinging the arms in circular direction, we loosen the shoulder muscles. To exercise the hip joints and waist, first rotate the hip in circular directions. Then lock the fingers together and swing your upper body from side to side. To warm up the neck muscles and the knees, place the hands on the kneecaps and rotating the knees in circular directions. For the feet joints and ankles, first by pressing the ball of your foot against the ground and then rotate the ankle in circular directions. And now repeat the same exercise to the other leg. To warm up the fingers, by open and close your hand a few times. Now rotate the wrist in circular directions. We'll loosen the wrist joints. To stretch the wrist, by pushing the palms against each other. Then lock the fingers together and push downward with the palms facing down. The sit-up exercise is to tone the stomach muscles and to develop the strength of the waist. And the back curl-up exercise is also to help developing the strength of the waist and the back muscles. The stances or the horses are the most basic and important training in all martial arts. It helps to develop a strong foundation for better balance and add more power to the techniques. The 7 most basic stances are shown here, namely the inward stance, square stance, bow and arrow stance, crane stance, twisting stance, and the back squat stance. The inward stance, square stance, and the bow and arrow stance are used for defending and offending from either front or the side attacks. Cat stance, or sometimes called the pre-fighting stance, requires 90% of the weight on the back leg, and with the front leg only touching the ground. The crane stance is usually used for blocking a kick or to avoid a sweep. And the twisting stance allows you to swing your body 180 degrees without changing the position of your feet. And the back squat stance is used for take down the opponents, and the stance requires both feet flat on the ground. In this section, a series of exercises serve to strengthen and conditioning the arms, wrists, and fingers, which are critical for the execution of the chin up techniques. The exercise started with different types of push-up. The first one is a regular push-up with the palm. It's to strengthen the arms. The knuckle push-up is to strengthen and conditioning the striking surface of the fist. The finger push-up is to conditioning and make the fingers more stronger. The next push-up is to strengthen and conditioning the wrist. Beginners should not do this type of push-up unless you have a strong and flexible wrist. And the last one is the forearm push-up. It's helped to develop the strength for the forearm and the wrist. The finger and fist handstands are to strengthen the waist, the stomach, and the leg muscles. This hand exercise are to tense up the fingers from a relaxed position. This type of exercise helps to direct and concentrate the power to the wrist and fingers. The next exercise is to strengthen the arms and the wrist by rolling up weights from a roll bar. Make sure your arms are straight and remain the same height as your shoulders. And the fingers can be strengthened by squeezing a hand grip in different positions. The next exercise is to increase the grabbing power of your hand by grabbing a bag which is filled with BBs or lead shots. When you grab the bag, make sure the palms of your hands are facing down. The last exercise is two-man exercise, which to increase the grabbing power of your hands by grabbing the forearms back and forth between you and your partner. The chin-up techniques are separate into different groups according to the grabs or attacks. The first group of techniques involves a quick release from the grab and return with a simple strike. The first one is the attacker grab your right arm with his left. You quickly draw your arm from the opening of the attacker's hand and followed by a back fist to the face. The second one is the same type of grab. This time you turn your hand in an anti-clockwise direction and followed by a palm strike to the chest. The next one is the attacker grab your right wrist with his right arm. This time you turn your hand in a clockwise direction to break the hold and a palm strike to the chest. Now so let's look at the first technique again. A simple grab. You just have to draw your arm away from your opponent and the back fist straight to the side of the head. The next one is to rotate your hand in anti-clockwise direction to break the hold and a palm strike to the chest or the midsection of the body. The next one is a different grab. The attacker grab your right hand with his right hand. Now you turn your hand in anti-clockwise direction to break the hold and strike to the floor of the attacker. This is a two-hand grab from the attacker to your forearm with your attacker's left hand on top. Clasp your hands together and pull out from the grab and the elbow strike to the head. This is the same grab, but this time with the attacker's right hand on top. This is also a pull out from the attacker's grab and elbow strike to the head. The next one, the attacker grab your hand when your hand or your arms are in the upright position. To break the hold, you have to turn your arm in clockwise direction and then followed by a back fist to the side of the head. This is the same grab as before. This time you push your hand down against the attacker's forearm to break the hold, and then followed by a grab to the attacker's throat. This is a simple grab from behind. The attacker grabs you from behind with his left hand. As soon as the attacker grabs you, you pull your hand out in forward direction and strike him to the neck with the elbow. The next one is a grab from behind. The attacker grabs your shoulders with both hands, walk a step forward to break the hold and kick to the groin. Now the next group is the grab to the chest. The first one is your attacker grab your chest with his right hand. To break the hold, grab your opponent's thumb and press down. You will put a lot of pressure on his thumb and he had to let go. This is the same grab, a chest grab with the right hand. Now this time, use your left elbow and turn your body sideways and press on the attacker's elbow. This is also a chest grab. And this time, put both hands on top of the attacker's hand and push down. When you're doing this technique, make sure your both hands are pressed down tight and don't let the attacker draw his hand out. The next one is also a chest grab with the right hand. With your left hand holding your opponent's arm and the right hand pressing down to his thumb. The next one is also a chest grab. Now this time, with the right hand holding your opponent's arm and the left hand pushing your opponent's elbow forward and down. Next one is a shoulder grab. Put your right hand on top of your opponent's hand and with the left elbow go around his arm and press down and put pressure on the wrist. This is also a shoulder grab by the opponent with his right hand. This time you grab the index fingers and push forward and down. The next one is your attacker wrap around your shoulder with his left arm. Lock your finger together around his arm and push down, and you will apply a lot of pressure on his shoulder. This is the same grab as before. Now this time you put your right hand up on his chin and with your right leg behind his left leg and take him down. This one is when your attacker rests his arm on your shoulder. Push his arm forward and apply pressure on his wrist by pushing his hand to your body. This is a side shoulder grab from the attacker with his left hand. Your left hand holding the back of your attacker's hand, and with your right hand turning his elbow down by locking his elbow and the wrist. This one is shoulder grab and followed by a punch to your head. You block and grab his fist and turn the arm clockwise and lock both hands together. The next one is a shoulder grab. With your both hands grabbing his arm and turning your body and putting his arm against on your shoulder. The next group of grab is hair grab. Started with a front hair grab by the attacker. With your both hand on top of your attacker's hand and push forward and down to put pressure on his wrist. The next one is also a front hair grab. This time with your right hand, the thumb pressing on the pressure point of the hand, and then turn the attacker's arm around and putting pressure on the wrist. The next one is also a front hair grab. Also with the right hand, the thumb pressing in the cavity point of your opponent's hand, but this time with the left elbow pressing on his elbow, and also both hands are putting pressure on his wrist. The next one is a grab from behind. Now putting both hands against your opponent's hand and turn your body around and pick up your head to put a lot of pressure on his wrist. The next group is a forearm grab or wrist grab. The first one is your attacker grab your wrist with his right hand. Put your left hand on top of his hand, and with your right hand turning in clockwise position and locking his wrist. The second one is also a wrist grab. This time turning his arm anti-clockwise, and put your elbows against his and push upward to apply pressure on both the wrist and the elbow. This one is also the same grab, a forearm grab. And this time you're pulling his arm and turning in clockwise direction, locking his shoulder. This one is also a hand grab. With your right hand, push again on your attacker's hand and push upward to apply pressure on his wrist. This is also a wrist grab with the attacker's left arm. By grabbing his hand and the arm and turning your body and putting his arm against your elbow or shoulder to apply pressure. The next one is a reverse wrist grab or forearm grab. By applying pressure with your elbow to your attacker's wrist. This is also a forearm grab. With your left hand turning up and the right hand grab your attacker's wrist and twist on his arm. This one is also a reverse wrist grab. Grab your opponent's arm and turn it over your body and putting pressure on the wrist. This is a two-hand grab for the forearm with the attacker's left hand on top. Put your right hand rotate in clockwise direction against your attacker's forearms and locking on his wrist. This is the same grab. Both hand grab to the forearm with the left on top. Now this time with the left hand, take your attacker's left arm and put it on top of his elbow and lock it. This one is also a two-arm grab. You're locking your opponent's wrist by turning your right arm against his wrist. This is a two-hand grab, your two hand. The right hand grab your opponent's hand and the other pull in the elbow. This is another two-hand grab. First break the hold on the right arm and then strike to your opponent's elbow and lock his arm by pushing his arm forward and down. The next one is a simple wrist grab. You put your left forearm on his inner elbow and push forward and down. This one is the upper arm grab. With your left hand on top of his hand to secure the hold, and with your forearm turning counterclockwise to put pressure on his forearm and wrist. This is another forearm grab. This time with your left arm turning in clockwise direction and apply pressure on the wrist. This is also a forearm grab, but this time with the attacker's right hand. Hold the attacker's hand with your left and then turn your right arm clockwise and grab to the elbow. This is a grab on your wrist when your wrist is on upright position. Hold the attacker's arm and turn it sideways and apply pressure on the wrist. The next group of grab or attack is the punch. The attacker initiates with the forward punch to the head, block with the left arm, and with the right hand grab to the throat and take him down to the floor. And the second one is also a punch to the head. Block with the right and grab, and then with the left arm grab the attacker's shoulder and turn his arm over. The next one is a forward punch to the midsection. Block with the right arm and the left hand grab his hand, and with the right arm turn in a clockwise direction, locking the wrist and the elbow. The next one is a forward punch to the head. Block with the left arm. At the same time, grab your opponent's arm and rotate your body and put his arm on your shoulder. The next one is a reverse punch to the midsection. Block and turn his arm over with the right hand grabbing the shoulders muscle. The next group of attack is a neck choke. With your fingers, both hands digging into his collarbone to put a lot of pain on his collarbone. This is an attack from the back with the attacker's right hand on your mouth. All those techniques can be used with the other hand, the left or the right. This is a full Nelson grab from behind. First step on his leg and with a headbutt to his face and a kick to the groin. This is a forearm neck choke from behind. First strike him with the elbow and with the left arm around his right arm and locking on his shoulder. The next group is a grab to the waist. When the attacker grabs your waist on the side, and all you have to do is wrap the left arm against his and knock both hands and push down on his elbow. This is a front wrist grab to the waist. With your left hand holding his arm and the right arm apply pressure on the attacker's elbow. This is a front grab from behind. The attacker wraps his arm around you from the front. With your both hands push his hip and then the knee kick to his groin. This is another grab from behind. First, you put your both arms to break the hold and grab his front leg and take him down and step to his groin. This is a front grab on your waist. This time clap to his head and pull the ear and rotate his head. The next one is the waist lock from behind. First you have to pull in the wrist of his right hand to put pressure on the wrist to break the lock, and turn around and put in pressure or break his wrist. This is a raise lock from behind. First, strike your attacker with the elbow, and then wrap your right arm around his neck. Next one is against a front kick. By catching the kick and apply pressure on his ankle. The next one is against a side kick. Block with your left arm and turn his leg around, putting pressure on his leg. This group is a handshake. The first one is to use your thumb and press on the pressure point between the thumb and the index fingers of the opponents. This is another handshake. This time, grab the thumb and pull down. This way you will apply a lot of pressure to the thumb. And the next one is also a handshake. By turning his hand upward and pull. The next two techniques are when you're sitting down and you're attacked by someone. There are two techniques are shown here when you're sitting down with your legs in different position. The next group of techniques are against weapons. The first one is against a knife, pointing to your chin. With your left arm, pull the knife away from you, and a knee strike to the groin. The next one is knife pointing to your chest. This time, pull the knife away with your right hand and a knee kick to the groin. This technique is against knife. Step to you forward by crossing your arm to block and turn your arm clockwise and lock the wrist. This is another technique to against the knife to step to you. Block and grab the arm with your left and elbow straight to the head. The next one is to against a pole. striking down. First block with the left, and then grab your opponent's leading arm and wrap around the pole. The last group of techniques are ground techniques. When you are on the ground and your opponent or the attacker are on top of you, and with both hands choking your neck, first you apply pressure on his elbow, and with the right knee push him to the side. The next one is the same grab, same ground position, and this time you apply pressure on your opponent's elbow. Thank you for watching this SKFC martial art training video. Please stay tuned for a look at other martial art training videos from SKFC available to you through our toll-free 800 number.
Also available through SKFC Incorporated, SH2, the execution of advanced Chin-A techniques, contains over 75 advanced Chin-A techniques, variation from joint locks to pressure point strikes as defense against bare hand and weapon attacks from any angle to any part of the body. Regardless of the style, Chin-A will improve your self-defense tremendously. You'll learn from easy-to-follow instructions with slow motion and close-up photography. In SH3, Anti-Chin-A and Two-Men Chin-A set, you'll learn anti-Chin-A techniques designed to counter joint locks and regain control of the opponent. Application of Chin-A and anti-Chin-A techniques in the two-man set help to develop timing, precision, speed, and power. You'll see techniques never before seen in books or videos. SH4, Practical and Effective Self-Defense for Women, includes over 50 of the most practical, effective self-defense and Chin-A techniques that every woman should know. And SH5, Shaolin Wooden Dummy Techniques and Applications, contains over 100 of the most practical and deadly fighting techniques of the Southern Shaolin systems. Basic training from how to approach and train on the wooden dummy up to advanced level hand, elbow, knee, and leg techniques. Slow motion and close-up photography clearly illustrate and detail the proper movement and execution of techniques for both beginning and advanced level martial artists. Order your copy today. Also, call today for information on how to order the Ultimate Wooden Dummy. To order SKFC martial arts training videos and your wooden dummy, call now at 1-800-628-2828, extension 595. That number again is 1-800-628-2828, extension 595. Remember, all videos are demonstrated and under the supervision of Master Stephen Lee, former full contact and forms champion of Hong Kong. And for seminar and information, please write SKFC Incorporated, P.O. Box 345, Fields, New York, 10984.